So sketch the solution set. I want to show my 0 just to give me an idea where I am. Since I have to graph the point negative 2/3, then I'm interested in showing -1 and 1. And that's probably about it. If my solution said x is greater than 100, then I can choose my scale to be every unit is worth 100. So it really depends of the value that x is greater than or equal to or less than or equal to. So -2/3 probably is going to be a third from -1. And then I'm going to shade all the values of x that I'm using. You can choose a marker or you can choose a pencil and just start shading it really dark. So from the calculator we saw that any value greater than -2/3 makes this inequality true. So all of these. And since I can't really tell what is the number after -2/3, what is the next real number after -2/3, then the idea is that I'm going to shade everything that is after -2/3, because shading every single point I will never be able to finish it. So I'm just going to shade the entire line going from here to the right, and I'm also going to shade the arrow just to say that all the x's that make this true continue that way. So even though you don't see the number 2, 3, 4, a million, 1 trillion, a gazillion, you don't see those numbers, all those x's also satisfy this inequality. So the only way to say that is shading everything in here and also include the arrow, please. Now what happens at -2/3? When x equals -2/3, this is not less than 9x plus 4. It's actually 3 times -2/3 and 9 times -2/3 plus 4. This is -2. This is -6 plus 4 ends up being -2. So it is not true that -2 is greater than -2. It's actually -2 equal to -2. So because the equality here is not something that we have considered in here either, therefore x cannot be -2/3, and the only way that we have to say that is to put a circle on it, and this circle is empty or open. So an open circle at -2/3 just to say that x cannot be -2/3, but any number greater than that will be fine. Even if we add 0.000000001 to it, that will be fine. That will be an admissible number, but not -2/3. Summarizing, when they ask us for a sketch, then this is the sketch we need to provide. And the actual answer could be written in two ways. I can say this is the answer. X is greater than -2/3, or I can write it as inequality. X is any number in here from -2/3 to, and I never stop this way, so I can say from -2/3 to infinity. And because this is an open circle, therefore this is a parenthesis, which means open interval. So you can show your answer like this, with inequality or with interval. This is as interval, and this is obvious that it's as inequality. Example 2 has simultaneous inequalities. So this is just a way to say that we have two inequalities embedded into this single one. For example, I can split this up into 4 less than or equal to 3x minus 2, and I can also say this 3x minus 2 less than 13. So I'm combining these two into one. Notice how the direction of the inequality in here matches. If this was written like this, I wouldn't be able to combine those two into one. but since both of them are less than and less than, then I can write that. So I can treat it just as 1, and that will save me a little bit of work and writing. So again, this is about solving for x, so I have to get rid of this plus 2 first, so I can add 2 now in every single side, in the middle of these two inequalities, on the left side and on the right side. So in here I have 6, 3x, and I have 15. Now I'm gonna divide by 3, or which is the same as multiplying as 1/3. And because that number is positive, then the direction of the inequalities does not change. So now the 3's cancel out, so I have x less than 5, but this at the same time is greater than or equal to 2. So the answer is x could be between 2 and 5, including 2. Now, if I want to write it as interval, this is another way of showing your answer. X is between 2 and 5, open at 5 because x cannot be 5, but close at 2 because x can be 2 because of this line that says or equal to. Now, if I want to sketch, they don't ask me that, but I know that you were wondering how to sketch that. My number line, this is 2 and this is 5, so I know my zeros should be somewhere. A circle that is close at 2 but open at 5, and then I'm gonna shade everything in between because x could be any number in between 2 and 5. It could be 2.1, 2.2, 2.3, and so on. It could even be the number pi. Remember, the number pi is 3.1415 and so on. Pi is also a solution of this.